Well, hello friends, and welcome to my channel. I am Crystal, and this is Homemaking on the Homestead. And in today's video, I'm bringing you into my kitchen, and I am going to share with you 4 meals that I have made recently that are super easy to make and taste delicious. So without further ado, we're going to start on the first one, which is some Asian meatballs and broccoli, kind of like a different twist on beef and broccoli. So let's get going on this, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I started with a sheet pan, so this is kind of a sheet pan type meal, a pound of meatballs, which could be pre-made like mine were, or homemade if you want to make your own, and a package of broccoli florets. I got those cooking right away since both of those things were frozen. I cooked them, I don't remember, probably 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. And then I grabbed some of my Yoshida sauce that I had in the refrigerator and drizzled that over him and stirred them up. I wanted everything, the meatballs and the broccoli, to be nicely coated with the sauce, but not too much. I did a little bit more, and then I popped them back into the oven for another 10 or 15 minutes until they were nicely brown and the broccoli was all cooked and all. I served these with pot stickers. You could also serve it with rice. It was a delicious and easy meal. Now the next recipe I'm going to show you is a chili recipe, and it is delicious. My daughter shared this. I'm going to link below in the description box the link to Natasha's Kitchen. That's the blog that she found the recipe at. And I tell you, I have had it at her house a few times. I have made it several times myself, and it is so good. Now, it makes a lot. So if you're like a small family like we are now, just the 2 of us, it's going to be way more than what you're going to actually be able to eat quickly. You'd be eating chili for a month, but no. Anyway, it freezes great, and it is a crock pot meal. However, I have done both, just kind of simmer it on the stove or put it in the crock pot. It just depends on what you want, but you can divide it. So this is what I do. I divide it in half, and I freeze the half. And then the other half, sometimes I'll even divide that into half, freeze part of it, and then just cook up in a small crock pot the other. Or I just go ahead and cook the other half up in my bigger crock pot. In the video that you're going to see, I did not put it in the crock pot. I just simmered it all on the stove. Turned out great. I will say that I made it a day before they arrived, and then towards the end of the video, I never actually remembered after they got here and my life, got kind of chaotic and busy. I forgot to get actually a finished picture. You do see it in the pot, but I forgot the finished picture in a bowl. So my apologies for that. However, you're going to see how easy and quick this is to put together. Okay friends, it is time to turn the rest of this rotisserie chicken, the bones and the meat that I have, into some delicious chicken soup. I'm leaving these vegetables kind of on the larger side because they are going to go right into the Instant Pot with my chicken to give my chicken soup a lot of added flavor. And There's still quite a bit of meat on this bone, but that's okay. I'm going to take it all off after the broth is done, and it's going to make some lovely, delicious soup. There's also all kinds of goodies in here, which I am going to strain out, of course, afterwards, but these also give this soup, will give my soup and broth a lot of good flavor. I have 2 pieces of chicken here that we did not eat, but they're going in as well. I'll be adding 6 cups of water and a little added salt. I'm going to let this cook for 45 minutes and it will give us some delicious tasting broth.
This is the I'm so sure of myself. And that's why they're doing with the air. And they're going to blame all of this on it. I think I did. It's about how he literally...
I went ahead and removed the cooked vegetables out of there because I figure I didn't want them to go to waste, and I'm going to show you what I am going to do and how I am going to use that in the soup. In the meantime, I am pulling off all the meat from the bones, and I have a good amount left, and there are those veggies. Okay, now what I'm doing is adding a little bit of that broth, and I am pureeing this, and I will be adding this to the soup, which gave the soup a little extra body that was actually delicious. This soup was super easy to throw together. I decided I wanted to strain my chicken broth twice because there's still little bits of things in there, and so that's what I'm doing here, is just running it through a more finer mesh strainer to just remove anything in there. I added some frozen peas. Sometimes I do peas and carrots. I just didn't have any at that moment, so I did the peas. After that, I tossed in all that cooked chicken meat, and then I added some more of that liquid to my pureed vegetables and kind of stirred that up a bit so that it would be easier to get it all out of the jar, and I added that right into the soup. And like I said, this gave the soup almost a creaminess, definitely gave it extra body, and I would do this again. It was actually the first time I'd ever done that, so I highly recommend it. At that point, I added about 3 small handfuls of egg noodles, and I let that cook until the egg noodles were done. I added a little bit of extra seasoning after tasting it, and this was so good. This is not so much a recipe as it is an idea for you. I started out by making just a regular standard meatloaf that I always make. So you can use whatever your favorite meatloaf recipe is. I tend to like to use crackers. I know some people use oats and breadcrumbs. I just kind of do the cracker, and it does great. So I mixed up a batch of a basic meatloaf, and this time what I decided to do was turn it into mini loaves. So I divided what I had there into 6 basically little round balls, and I popped those into my muffin tin. Now you could use a smaller muffin tin and maybe get 8 out of them. It's really completely up to you. I just went ahead and did the 6, and once I had those all done, then I made a glaze for the top, which is basically just equal parts of ketchup and brown sugar and a little bit of Dijon mustard thrown in there too. I went ahead then and brushed this glaze over the top of each of my little mini meatloaves, and I baked these in the oven for about 20 minutes at probably 350. I think that's what my recipe says, but do according to whatever recipe you are using. For my side dish, I had a couple red potatoes that I needed to use up and 2 sweet potatoes, so I decided to just cut those into small pieces and roast those in the oven. And to do that, I just added a little bit of olive oil to that, kind of mixed that to coat each potato well, and then I added some extra spices, which was just a little bit of salt and some garlic powder. Stirred that up so they were all well combined and coated well, and then I put those out on my tray after I got my parchment paper to stop rolling off the tray. And then I baked those in the oven again at about 400 degrees, I think. And that's usually what I do that for, until they were nice and soft. And by the time I got those in the oven, the meatloaf had already come out of the oven and the potatoes were done. And this is what I had for my finished dinner. And once again, it was absolutely delicious. And I will say that these mini meatloaves would be perfect for freezing. So you could actually do up a big batch and stick them in the freezer, which would make a very quick and easy meal option in the future. All right, you guys, I really hope that you enjoyed these meals, and if you try any of them out, let me know below. Or if any of them look good and you're like, yeah, I want to try that, do let me know. And please don't forget to like this video. It helps the algorithm. You guys have been doing so great on helping me with that, and it is great. I've gotten new subscribers, which means when there's engagement, like likes and conversation, comments below, it just lets the algorithm know that, hey, people are interested, and it pushes my videos out to other people that might be like-minded and interested in the same types of things. Anyway, thank you all. I appreciate you all so much. And that is it for this video, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.